All rise.
It was a moment that Ahmaud Arbery's family thought would never come.
Felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Travis McMichael, guilty. Felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, Greg McMichael, guilty. Felony murder. We, the jury, find the defendant, William R. Bryan, guilty.
A shooting initially deemed justified by the first prosecutor who looked it over ends in guilty verdicts on murder charges more than a year later.
I never thought this day would come, but God is good.
Now, Travis McMichael, Greg McMichael, and William Bryan will return to a South Georgia courtroom to be sentenced for Arbery's murder. The jury reached its verdict on Thanksgiving Eve, 5 weeks after jury selection began in the coastal community of Brunswick, Georgia. From the outset, the jury's racial makeup raised concerns among Arbery's family and their supporters. Just one black person sat on the panel. This was the first of many racially charged issues to cast a shadow over the trial.
We don't want any more black pastors coming in here.
You cannot make those kind of blanket statements and expect that the black pastor won't show up.
But evidence and testimony in front of the jury took on a more focused issue. The defendants' states of mind as they chased Arbery through Satilla Shores in their pickup trucks and trapped him, quote, like a rat, words used by Greg McMichael, whose son Travis shot Arbery.
Who brought the shotgun to the party? Who took the shotgun out of the car? Who pointed the shotgun? Here's the thing, you cannot create the danger to yourself. That means you cannot be the initial unjustified aggressor. You can't create the situation and then go, I was defending myself.
Defense lawyers said the McMichaels thought Arbery was the same suspicious person who was captured on security cameras walking through a home under construction.
Greg was absolutely sure. He was absolutely certain. His suspicions were well-founded.
Travis, the shooter, took the stand, hoping to convince jurors his actions were reasonable.
I shot.
Why?
He had my gun. He struck me. It was obvious that he was. It was obvious that he was attacking me. That if he would have got the shotgun from me, then it was this is a life or death situation.
William Bryan's lawyer claimed he joined the chase out of concern for his neighbors and could not have anticipated the tragic outcome.
Should we have been chasing him? I don't know.
Bryan handed over his cell phone video of the shooting to police, an act defense lawyer Kevin Goff says shows his client cooperated with law enforcement.
He put his faith in the GBI. He put his trust in law enforcement. He put his trust in our government to do the right thing by him. His trust was not rewarded.
Each defendant was convicted of felony murder, which carries a mandatory penalty of life in prison under Georgia law. At sentencing, Judge Timothy Walmsley will be the one to decide whether to give the defendants a chance at release from behind bars after 30 years or sentence them to life without parole.
That was Court TV legal correspondent Julia Janae reporting for us there, and she will be helping us with the live coverage on Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time is when the sentencing hearing is set to begin. Let me bring in my guests now and have them weigh in on this one. We have with us Georgia attorney, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor and entertainment law attorney Daryl Cohen, and in Minneapolis, Minnesota, criminal defense attorney and former CIA officer Jack Rice. Daryl, I want to begin with you on this one, if I may, please. You helped us with our coverage immensely in the case of the three men who murdered Ahmaud Arbery. What do you think the court is going to do with these three cases on Friday?
Julie, my best lack of educated guess, what I call a PFA, pick from air, is that Roddy Bryan has a chance to be sentenced to life with a possibility of parole. I think the other two defendants who are convicted are going to be sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. And I think the difference is that one person was filming it or shooting it or videoing it, and the others were active participants. And I think the judge may, and I underline the word may, see a difference. Judge may not. They may all get life without parole. I'd be surprised if either Gregory McMichael or Travis McMichael receive the possibility of parole.
Mm-hmm. And Daryl, just to follow up for you, we are hearing that this hearing is supposed to be a pretty lengthy one that's going to be taking place. We understand probably witnesses. Do you think we can expect all three of these defendants to call witnesses on their own behalf?
Julie, if they don't, they're even bigger fools than they were when they got themselves embroiled in this. Absolutely. They're going to bring in people saying these three people are good guys. These three people may have committed this crime, may have been found guilty by the jury, but they are good guys. They don't have a previous record. One of them was the deputy sheriff at one point, and everybody's a good guy, and they should not have to spend the rest of their life in prison for this one misstep, this one problem that they encountered. That would be my guess, and they'll bring in family members who will cry, they'll bring in neighbors who will cry, and they will bring in people who will say, these are just good people who obviously made a terrible mistake.
Right. Daryl Cohen, thank you so much for that. Jack Rice, thanks to you as well. We're going to squeeze in a quick break. We want to let you know that coming up coming up on Thursday night, on closing arguments with Vinnie Politan, the attorney for William Roddy Bryan, Kevin Goff, will be joining Vinnie live at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to talk about the case and, of course, the upcoming sentencing for his client. You can see that interview happen live right here on Court TV.